Okay, so now throttle body had been removed from the vehicle, from a 95 E320 with 3.2 M104 motor, no ASR. Now, a couple of tips here, I guess, if I may. Basically, you do remove this portion. This is the intake valve. It opens both intakes. Here it is. The top portion came out first. As you can see, there are 4 bolts. It goes on top. Bottom portion carefully removed because there is a rubber seal. As you can see, it's a little tight, so you remove this piece very carefully, not to break anything. It sits right inside there. It goes in snug. As you can see, it doesn't go in easy. So this piece comes out. Alright, the throttle body plug is attached here to 2 10mm bolts that had to be undone. Then the plug disconnects. The linkage, here's the linkage, the throttle body linkage. It disconnects from oh god, let's see. My finger, where is it? Come on now. Here. You can see a tiny little ball. See my finger right here? This is where this little ball is. This is the linkage itself that moves it. Gas pedal linkage. Off that little ball, it gets off. So I just put the screwdriver underneath and carefully pry it up. It came out because I previously lubricated it. So it came out easy. It might not come out easy if it hasn't been lubricated forever. So this is another shot where that linkage engages from the inside when throttle body is removed. Right over here, there's a little ball that it gets over. There is a little vacuum hose. That's very simple to remove when throttle body is already in motion. I mean, it's unscrewed. Just this one right here. There's a little hose. Just one Phillips screwdriver bolt. Then you basically just take the throttle body, maneuver it, and work it out with the bigger portion first, this way. Now, another thing that you would need to know is the actual rubber boot that sits on top of the throttle body. Here is the boot, right over here. Many times it would break, but you can try to remove it easy without any kind of damages to it, which this one is undamaged pretty much, except for this tiny part, which is irrelevant really. What happens with this boot is you cannot just pry it off, because as you can see there is a small little notch. The way this bolt sits inside the throttle body is this way. Let's see. It goes on. Let me see if I can do it any better. It goes on, and then it turns. Let me just take it off, not to damage it. Let me put it over here in the toolbox, because I only have one hand right now working, holding the camera with the other. And then it just twists on. I can't do it with one hand, but anyway, before there it goes. Okay, so now it sits inside there with the square piece in it. So what you want to do is you want to turn it, okay, like that, and then you work it off the throttle body. Again, one hand, not comfortable, but it comes off. Obviously, I took it off before, as you saw it. Okay, with two hands you can easily take it off, but it has to come off first so you can get access to bolts that hold throttle body to the intake. Those 4 bolts right over there. Okay, so it comes off first. and that's pretty much all. Actually, oh yes, another thing, it's important, is this little spring. Okay, this little spring. This is the return spring. You can see a piece of my glove got stuck in it. But anyway, this is a return spring. It just latches on to this little opening right here, as you can see it right there. So it goes this way, latches on, and then it goes on the throttle body linkage to keep it in the return position. So this is how this one basically comes on and off. Yeah, you can see the spring. Okay, just latches on. Remove the spring altogether before you take throttle body out, because there is some passages you can reach the spring through. There is one underneath here, so I can put my hand in there so you can work it out. I would rather remove the spring before, because it's going to be difficult later to actually work. I mean, you can lose the spring, and the spring is going to be holding the throttle body back. Another last thing, actually, to remove the boot. I'm sorry to jump from subject to subject. It's just that my memory is not the greatest in the world. So the boot itself is held on the bottom by this little how do you call it? I don't know, like a clamp or whatnot. And the clamp, the top piece faces toward the front of the vehicle, and the bottom piece, which is the difficult one, faces to the back of the vehicle. So now what I did is I had an extension made with a springable, as you can see, a flexible extension, okay, with flexible U-joint here. Another extension piece just to make this thing longer, okay, like that. An 8mm deep wall socket to actually reach it, which is this one. And altogether it reached, and I was able to, with 1/4" ratchet, I was able to remove it. Have to loosen it pretty much a lot just to make sure, because it's pretty difficult. So I started it from here and kind of moved it all the way in, and it ended up somewhat over here. So the actual socket was reaching around this area, and that's exactly where that bolt was to undo the clamp. And then you just turn the key here, like ratchet it out, and it removes it from there. This actually is a relatively simple job, because on V8 it's a little more difficult, as more things have to be undone before you can reach the throttle body, and some hoses and some pipes and vacuum pipes and whatnot. This one is very simple, comparing rather to V8 one. And there you have it. So in the next video I will show how to actually cut into it and see the condition of wiring. I have to put my camera on the tripod before doing so. Alright.